Hey everybody out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Welcome, it's Monday, June 27th, 2022. I hope you had a good weekend. We had a lot of fun here on Cape Ann. Big festival, a lot of sunshine, kicking off the summer. Need the upliftment during these trying times. But during that time, I did stop and do a meeting for Grassroots of Democracy. We meet every Saturday, and we sign petitions, we do research, we write emails, we do what needs to be done. There's so much going on in the news that I didn't really have time to catch up on all of it, but there's so many major stories in the news. Let's start with on kind of a lighter note, but disturbing just the same, Rudy Giuliani accusing somebody of assaulting him when he was at a grocery store campaigning with his son. By the way, his son's not going to win anything. I think he's running for governor of New York, Andrew. Anyway, so there they were, and a grocery store worker walked by and gave him a pat on the back and walked by. And I don't know if he said anything because it was a surveillance camera that they just have going on at the store. And Rudy exploded into this big conspiracy that he felt like he had been shot in the back. And then later he said it was like a boulder, and I was so lucky I didn't fall down and crush my head because I'm 78, and that could have really wounded me. Unfreaking believable. He's Italian, for God's sake. I mean, I spent a whole weekend at the Sicilian festival here, and people were patting each other on the back every minute. Hey, Gumbati. And he tried to turn it into an accusation of an assault. I mean, if you watch the video, it just looks like the kid saying hi. Hey Rudy, what's up? Like that. And he went full on conspiracy. The guy had to spend 24 hours in the New York City jail for patting Rudy on the back and saying, hey. That's the kind of country that we live in right now, that people just make shit up. Excuse me, I'm getting a little crass. And get away with it, right? Someone had to say it, so I just said it. Let's just grab the pendulum and ask the pendulum. Uh-oh, where did it go? We're gonna ask the pendulum. Here it is. Does Rudy really believe that story that he's made up, that he was assaulted? I mean, and he shouldn't say stuff like that. In light of what happened in Buffalo, he shouldn't say that it felt like he got shot in the back when somebody just tapped him on the back, like patted him on the back. So Rudy's brain is so pickled that I just want to know, does he really believe his own story? Let's just start there. Does Rudy really believe his own story? No. No, he's playing woe is me. The Dems, the Dems don't like me. He even said that the guy called him an effing scumbag. There's no evidence of that. None. Looked like the guy was saying, hey, Rudy. So there we are. We start with that. I hope you guys got to see Corey, Bridge Cape Ann, over the weekend. We did do a crazy show on last Wednesday, and then he covered the sporting events here over the weekend. And go to Bridge Cape Ann if you want to see any of that. It's quite long, and it's kind of entertaining too. So let's pick some cards. Let's see. I just want to point out that tomorrow is a new moon in Cancer. And now that I'm on this side of the room, I can look over at my astrology calendar, my witch's calendar by Llewellyn. I love this calendar. Anyway, and I notice that Neptune is going retrograde tomorrow. And it's a new moon in Cancer. And the sun is in Cancer. That's pretty intense. That's a lot of emotions. I would say that Neptune going retrograde I'm not an astrologer, I always tell you that, but I just pick up intuitively, and doing so many readings, I can sense signs. Neptune going retrograde and all this water energy right now is going to be, going back to what affected us emotionally, revisiting what affected us emotionally. Case in point, and this is my intuitive read of Neptune retrograde, is that I feel like, the January 6th committee just springing it on everybody today. I had to change my schedule. At the hearings, there's going to be another hearing tomorrow, even though they were going to wait till July, in light of what recently came up. So, the news people say, well, I can't read the tea leaves. Well, I can. I can. I actually was reading tea leaves earlier. I might be able to see something in that. They don't have a crystal ball. They say that too. So it's like, it's a new market out there. So let's take a look. We don't know who they are bringing in, who they have lined up to speak tomorrow at the hearings. I'm getting Pat Cipollone, and let's ask the pendulum. John Eastman, maybe? Okay. Is John Eastman... Oh, the pendulum doesn't want to tell us yet. Just clearing any confusion. We'll let it do that. That's the pendulum saying, read some cards and get back to me. All right, we're going to read a few cards about that. The January 6th hearing, the impromptu one, I see DOJ all over this. I just want you to know. I see DOJ all over this. I keep getting the Lover card around the January 6th committee, which is really, to me, it's about this being an agent of change for many, many Republicans when they really get what really happened on January 6th, when they finally pay attention. Okay, so we cleared that. Okay, so now let's do clarity, because I want to ask the pendulum about John Eastman. So the Lover card is people are cooperating, and people whose minds weren't really made up about what happened on January 6th are starting to get, their minds are starting to get made up. Okay, now, tomorrow at the hearings, is Pat Cipollone going to be speaking? I'm not getting Pat Cipollone. That's interesting, because I thought I would. Is John Eastman going to be speaking at the hearing? Not him either. Who, pray tell, could it be? If I had you on live, I would ask you to give me some ideas. But anyway, whoever it is, I'll think of a couple other people. This is somebody this is a come to Jesus moment for somebody. Whoever they're speaking with tomorrow at those hearings is having a come to Jesus moment. And this is the Six of Swords. It's somebody that they have a lot of evidence on, and it's kind of like, you might as well just come and tell us the rest to be less incriminated. And Ghouliani already answered questions, so I'm really just going down the list in my head to figure out who it might be. We can go down the list like this. Is it Ted Cruz? Ron Johnson? No. Is there somebody with a familiar name to us? Yeah, it's somebody with a familiar name to us. Okay. See if the cards give us any more. Maybe I'll read the tea leaves. Who is it? I'm getting the letter P. Okay, the January 6th hearings. Anyway, I'm going to watch them. I'm getting the word lawyer. Okay. Is that accurate? Is it, okay, I'm getting lawyer. I'm getting very strong lawyer. Okay. That's interesting. Eastman is a lawyer. Let's take a look at what's going on with Eastman. I'm as lost as you guys. It's like, we're not alone. We're all in this together. It's somebody who stands to lose everything. This is the Seven of Swords. It's somebody who stands to lose everything, is feeling completely isolated, nowhere else to turn, might as well cooperate. And this is this person's way, it's a he, of jumping over obstacles because there's too much, they're facing jail time. Whoever this is, they're facing jail time. So let me see. A lawyer, not John Eastman. Is it somebody affiliated with John Eastman? Yes. That's what I have for you thus far. Somebody affiliated with John Eastman. It's not John Eastman. Is it John Eastman's lawyer? Is it John Eastman's lawyer? Yeah. Wow. The plot thickens. Eastman was just all over this. Oh, wait, more. There's more. Jeffrey Clark. Is it Jeffrey Clark? Pendulum doesn't want to tell me. Well, okay, so I got John Eastman's lawyer. When it goes counterclockwise like that, it's clearing energy, and I don't want to keep you here all night. Okay, so we're gonna ask a couple more questions about the hearing, then we're gonna do kind of a deep dive into the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas is off the rails. He reminds me of Trump. He's a very angry man. But different from Trump in that Clarence Thomas is, I don't know how to describe it. We'll get to that. Let's do the January 6th first. Clarence Thomas has interesting energy. Anyway, just in terms of, it's very complex. I'm sorry, I'm on Clarence Thomas now. The interesting thing about Clarence Thomas is I actually got today that Clarence Thomas, even though he's African American, I feel like in his past life he was a slave owner, which is interesting to me. He has this, Lord, I'm the Lord, like the landlord, the Lord of the land. He has that kind of energy, Clarence Thomas does. But we're not talking about that right now, Annette. We're talking about January 6th. Is it somebody tomorrow in the hearing directly affiliated with Donald J. Trump? Is it somebody directly, yes, is somebody directly affiliated with Donald J. Trump? Crossed my mind today that this whole thing, the whole insurrection, has so much to do with Russia infiltrating our whole system of democracy here that I actually was wondering, are they going to say something about that they found out about the connection between Trump and Putin? Oh, I'm all pendulum happy. Are they going to reveal something about the connection between Putin and Trump? No. Let's ask the cards, do they have that information? A direct line between Putin and Trump. Do they have that information? I have that information. The Lover card again. We keep on getting the Lover card for the January 6th committee. I really feel like this is about cooperation. And there's, the Emperor has no clothes. There is a female involved in testifying at the hearings. And the Mike Pence's assistant is popping into my mind. I don't recall her name at the moment, but she's not going to be testifying. Okay. Let's go to... So the new moon in Cancer. Write your list. It's a really good time to start home projects or to plan home projects or to hang out with your mother or your grandmother. Very maternal energy. Good day to do self-care, nurturing. I'm unpacking these different topics in my brain. I want to stay on January 6th for some reason. Because I think the cards have more to tell me about January 6th, about the committee and what's going on there. They've had a lot of death threats. A lot of death threats. And what I'm seeing kind of morph energetically is now with Roe Wade being overturned. What's starting to happen is that, let me see if I can explain this. A lot of Republicans, a lot of the people that were really staunch Trumpsters were really staunch Trumpsters, a lot of them, because they couldn't deal with the so-called elite and educated and people that, I mean, and this is kind of a cultural thing. I remember this growing up. You didn't want to use too many big words or seem too smart because people perceive that as that you would think, they would think that you thought that you were better than them. Even though that's not the case, right? I think it's kind of human nature, but I think it's kind of cultural too. So with the Republicans that are really staunch Trumpsters, a lot of them don't want to give it up because they don't want others to feel like they were right all along. There's some of that going on. Now, when the January 6th hearings are coming down with all of this evidence that Trump tried to destroy democracy, it's right in their faces, and they're kind of startled. I'm talking in general terms. And then they think, well, gee, well, maybe I should not support the Republicans or Trump or all that. But then, if they have made enemies with somebody who is mad at them for being a Trumpster, they don't want to give in. So they probably won't vote. But that's why I always say, be nice to people that voted for Trump. I'm no saint. I don't really know anyone personally that voted for Trump. Except one person, and we don't talk about it. But most I've just seen bumper stickers that annoy me and that kind of thing. And before the election, there was a big Trump parade, and I was fit to be tied. But no direct, like, how could you do that? But I'm just saying, in a very roundabout way, sorry, that if the person that was a real Trumpster starts to turn because they're finding out all this evidence, and then with taking away women's rights, they're seeing what the Republicans are doing. They're seeing that Trump did that to the court, that, you know, we're just bound and determined to overturn Roe. They're seeing all this, and the only chance of those people being able to have their own come to Jesus moment where they go, oh my gosh, we have to save our country, we have to save democracy, we can't have this, is if people that were sort of liberals or Democrats were nice to them. Sorry, I just went on a rant. But I'm making the point. We can't make people that voted for Trump out of ignorance. We can't make them our enemies. We have to be there as nice people so then they'll know that we're not going to make fun of them if they change their minds. And a lot of them will, but we have to make it a friendly environment for them to change their minds. It's a cult. Anyway, let's go to Roe. I get on my little tangent. Sometimes I'm just doing my best to formulate in actual words, sentences that make sense, what I'm getting. In a nutshell, don't be mean. Okay, here we are, next. This is Roe. This is Roe being overturned. This is women coming to other women's aid. This is the American people actually becoming united over this issue. I'm not joking. Understand that it's a small percentage of the population that believes that women shouldn't have rights, and most of the population understands that women will die in childbirth. They will die because their bodies aren't big enough to bear a child and carry it to term. They'll die because they'll have back alley abortions. Women will die, and this is an issue that is going to unify America. It is. And of course, nothing's absolute. It's not across the board. But this is something that too many people do not want to be the case. And it's going to unite Americans. I mean, we can go down the dark, deep road of fear if we choose. We can do that if we choose. But let us choose to not go down the dark, deep road of fear. The pit of fear. Because this is, you know, I heard Mika on Morning Joe say it this morning, this is fascism. And I've been saying that. This is fascism. And I know that it's hard for people to get involved because we so often don't know the most effective places to get involved. If you Google, how do I fight for women's rights, you're not going to come up with anything that's just clear and concise. That's why I have Grassroots of Democracy, because we look at the challenge in front of us and we together navigate through figuring out the best angles to take, the best other organizations to support, and other organizations to join up with too, like Adam Kinzinger has the Country First, and there's the Lincoln Project, and Midas Touch, and there's a lot of them. So it's challenging to get involved because we often don't know how to get involved. But that's what we're doing at Grassroots of Democracy. So, grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. Type AYE in the subject line to receive our Zoom invites. So, just on that, it is fascism. There are a lot of people in positions of leadership that have blatant, glaring fascist tendencies. Greg Abbott, case in point. Ron DeSantis, another case in point. And there are many, many others. The January 6th committee and the Supreme Court issues are going to cause, they're going to kind of dovetail, and they're going to cause a mass, I want to say explosion, but don't think that I mean that literally, a mass awakening, like the Tower card. And I saw that the other night. I think you remember that. It's going to cause a mass awakening because it's so much in our faces all at once. And we have to resist the temptation to just cave in from the overwhelm. It's like we got to keep our eye on the ball, all hands on deck, find out what to do. Because to tell you the truth, when I saw Joe Biden get up there on Friday and say, we just have to vote in November, I was fit to be tied. No, that's not what. We have to get aggressive. Not violent, but aggressive. So, I want to look at Clarence Thomas. Not really, but you know what I mean. So, gag me. But like I said earlier, his energy is so interesting to me because Clarence Thomas, I mean, I read past lives and I can just see him. I really feel like he was definitely an owner of a lot of land in a past life, and he was a, I get that he was a slave owner. I did mention the other night that I felt like, you know, the Supreme Court was just like, all right, blowing everything up, because that's what we're going to see. It's going to be a domino effect. I don't mean that literally. And Clarence Thomas is getting a lot of glee. Here's how he reminds me of Trump. when the January 6th insurrection was happening, they were dancing. Do we remember that? Hello, everybody. Do you remember they were dancing? When I was at the festival this weekend, there was kind of a karaoke thing going on, and they sang that song, Gloria. I can't really sing it because they'll take me off YouTube, but that Gloria song, I can't even enjoy the silly little song. Not like it's my favorite song or anything, but that's what they were playing at the insurrection at the White House as the insurrection was happening. So Clarence Thomas, in other words, the meaner it is, the most horrible, the more people are suffering, the greater the pleasure. The meanness is the point. The cruelty is the point. The just having that much domination over people and watching them squirm and be uncomfortable and be like hugely disadvantaged. Clarence Thomas and Trump have that in common. And the sad thing about Trump is that he doesn't care about people that are poor and suffering. And those are the people that support him. So, 3 cards for Clarence Thomas. I know I keep switching topics, but it's all connected. I know you can see it. It's all connected. I know my viewers are intelligent humans. We're all intelligent. Let's use it. Okay. By the way, my numbers of views have gone down, so if you can help me out, if you haven't, hit the subscribe key and the thumbs up if you want. We're a quaint group. Clarence Thomas. I love our group. And thank you for watching Church of Spirituality. If you did watch Church of Spirituality, let me apologize here for the technological glitches. My Wi-Fi was funked out, but I think it's me. But yesterday's service was quite powerful. It was a really important message. Clarence Thomas. Okay, Clarence Thomas is actually, he's not very happy. He's not very happy. I feel like this is a love affair with the Republicans, well, with the extreme religious right. Remember, people, this is how Al-Qaeda started. Roughly. We have to be involved, seriously. Clarence Thomas is getting a lot of love from the right-wing extremists, but you know what? I don't really get that he's all that Christian in the distorted sense of being a Christian. I don't feel like he's all that religious, but he's having a love affair with them right now. Oh, a love affair with money. The money. It's about the money. That's what that's about. But Clarence Thomas he's gonna take a hit, which I'm actually surprised to see, because I'm thinking he must be feeling all victorious right now. I did say the other day that I saw so many lawsuits coming down, and how many people really are going to be so heinous as to prosecute a woman who's already in extreme despair and distress. I mean, actual prosecutors. I mean, I know there are horrible people that will do that. Let's see how far they're going to get with this. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay. We women especially are still totally reeling from this. Totally reeling from this. But all Americans need to be reeling from this, because if the Supreme Court can be that supreme and supremely dominate how we live our lives, in the blink of an eye, we've lost our democracy. Hugely disturbing that they won't even make exceptions, which is, if they don't make exceptions for girls that are too little, that are victims of incest, that they can have an abortion, if they don't make those exceptions, then what they're doing is they're murdering that young girl. Make no mistakes, this is terrorism. This is terrorism. How far is it going to go? how far it's going to go is the world is watching. This is weird because I see justice, I see too many legal situations that are going to put a lot of snags in this. Because they're literally saying these women can die. That's murder. And the King of Swords. I actually am feeling a lot of pushback that's going to make this really, this whole Roe thing is going to be a lot of snags, a ton of snags. I'm not like being Pollyanna. I'm not going to say it's not going to go into effect because the abortion bans are already in effect. But when the American people see what's happening to women as a result of this, innocent women, defenseless, let's take a look. Let's take a look at a few cards. I'm not going to keep you too long tonight. I'm kind of warm. It's hot in here. Okay. Plus I'm hungry. Forgot to bring my lunch. I got a new car today. That's full the Wheel of Fortune. No, what happened was actually, the car company was buying back my old, it wasn't even that old, lease, offered me a brand new car at a lower price. That's how desperate the car companies are for used cars right now. Anyway, that was my way of saying I didn't get to eat lunch. The Wheel of Fortune, I've been saying for a long time, and I said it the other night, the women are going to rise up. The women are going to make it very, 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 very difficult on the Supreme Court. And the Wheel of Fortune means there's going to be a change for the better. Now, let me just say, we're going to go through hell first. But, you know, we might go through hell, but we're not going to pitch a tent, as the saying goes. That's one of my favorites. So let's just end at, you know, like 35 minutes with a few cards to guide us. And I might come back tomorrow, since tomorrow is those hearings. Let's pick 3 cards about what to expect. Like tomorrow. There's going to be a lot coming out tomorrow. A lot. If you can watch it, watch it. If you're at work and you can, you know, have your phone under your desk or something and watch it that way, then, you know, go ahead. Do that. You can always watch it on YouTube afterwards. And here's the 6 of Cups. There's a lot. This is going to seal the deal. What they come up with tomorrow at those hearings is going to seal the deal. And it's actually going to put the January 6th committee on top in a very, very gradual way. This is changing the country. This January 6th committee is changing the country. So between that, all the evidence against Trump, all the evidence against those Republicans that are fascist and participated in the insurrection, plus Roe being overturned, plus the other things the Supreme Court is threatening to do, is going to make it very clear that the guys just said 3/4. 3/4 of this country will want to save democracy, will get on board with saving democracy. And I mean that, and I don't know exactly what I mean by that, but the guides just gave it to me. 75% of the United States population will be on the side of saving democracy. That's what we are going to see. And we will fight like hell. Going through hell, but not pitching a tent. So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow night we have 20 on Tuesdays. Send me an email, annettedion7@gmail.com, and just type 20 in the subject line. And we get together and we visualize, we meditate on and visualize the America that we want to see. Please join us. It's just 20 minutes. 7 o'clock Eastern time, annettedion7@gmail.com. Type 20 in the subject line, and we will send you the Zoom invite, and you can join us. All right, thank you so much for everything. Namaste. Thanks for your comments. Please watch Church of Spirituality if you can get through the tech stuff. Okay, good night.